Welcome to your daily AI News Digest. Today, we're tracking a series of events that mark a major turning point. The moment the abstract idea of artificial intelligence became a very real, very powerful economic force. The date is Friday, February 27th, 2026, and you should remember this day, because this is when the agentic AI revolution stopped being a theory discussed in research papers and started showing up in corporate restructuring plans, reshaping the global economy in just a matter of hours. All right, let's get right into our top story. It's a development that's sending a real chill through the white-collar workforce, a scenario that, a lot of people were worried about, but I don't think anyone expected it to happen this fast or with this much conviction. 40%. Just let that number sink in for a moment. That's the percentage of the entire workforce at Jack Dorsey's fintech company Block that has just been laid off. A number like that, it's impossible to ignore. Now, what's so critical to understand here is the why. This isn't your typical layoff. It's not because of a bad economy or poor company performance. As you can see, 4,000 employees are being let go for one explicit reason: AI productivity tools. This is really the first major position of strength layoff. We're talking about a healthy, profitable company cutting its staff simply to maximize its value by swapping human workers for agentic AI. And here is the quote from Dorsey himself: "A significantly smaller team can do more and do it better." Well, the market loved it. Block's stock shot up over 20% on the news. The signal this sends to the rest of the corporate world is loud and clear. Efficiency through AI is now what Wall Street rewards. The age of AI-driven labor displacement, it's here. Of course, this kind of automation doesn't just happen out of thin air. It's being fueled by an absolutely massive, unprecedented boom in the underlying infrastructure that powers it all. We're now living in what's being called the compute economy. $68.1 billion. That is Nvidia's revenue for a single quarter. It's a record breaker, and it cements their role as something much bigger than just a chip maker. They are, for all intents and purposes, the central bank of compute power for the entire planet. So what's driving these incredible numbers? It's a concept called the Agentic Inflection Point. We're making a huge leap, moving past AI as just a helpful assistant, like a chatbot, to AI as a truly autonomous agent. An agent that can handle complex, multi-step projects all by itself. And NVIDIA's new Vera Rubin platform is the engine built specifically for this new era. The Rubin platform delivers a 10-fold reduction in the cost of AI inference. Now, inference is basically the cost of an AI doing work or thinking. Crashing that cost by 10 times is what suddenly makes it not just possible, but profitable to deploy autonomous agents on a massive scale. It's the economic foundation for what we just saw at Block. And this figure? Well, it shows you the sheer scale of the investment. The world's top 8 cloud providers, they're on track to spend a combined $710 billion on AI infrastructure this year alone. It is a capital race unlike anything we have ever seen. This chart gives you a better look. You can see Google leading the charge, spending over $188 billion, a lot of that on its own custom silicon. Honestly, the amount of money you need to even compete in this race is creating a massive barrier to entry. It's effectively creating an oligopoly that will control the future of intelligence itself. Now, this gold rush for compute isn't just a corporate race. It has become a geopolitical one. And that takes us to our next major story: the rapidly escalating chip war between the United States and China. What we're witnessing is a strategic decoupling of the world's two biggest tech ecosystems. The Chinese AI lab DeepSeek is now refusing to give U.S. chipmakers like Nvidia access to its latest models. This is a deliberate strategy to give their domestic champion, Huawei, a critical head start in optimizing its own chips for the Chinese market. It's economic warfare, plain and simple. And this table here really lays out the complex battleground. The most powerful U.S. chips, like Nvidia's Blackwell, are completely prohibited in China. Some less powerful ones are permitted, but with heavy restrictions. All of this creates a protected market where domestic players, especially Huawei, are cementing their lead. This whole situation has led to a brand new term: compute laundering. U.S. officials are now alleging that DeepSeek's powerful new model was secretly trained on smuggled, high-end Nvidia chips, all while the company plans to publicly take credit using its domestic hardware. It's a bold, high-stakes game to get around U.S. export controls. So, from geopolitical tensions right here on Earth, we now turn our attention to the final frontier. Because Elon Musk has just made what might be his most audacious play yet, aiming to solve the single biggest bottleneck for AI's future: power. Terrestrial power. That's right, it is now official. Musk has formally merged his two giants, xAI and SpaceX. The goal here is pretty straightforward: create one vertically integrated company that can not only build the most powerful AI, but also build and deploy the infrastructure to run it in outer space. And the valuation of this new combined entity? A mind-boggling $1.25 trillion. Overnight, this creates an absolute titan in both the AI and the aerospace industries. Here's the four-step plan. First, the merger. Second, they'll use a new AI, apparently named MacroHard, to help design the orbital systems. Then, SpaceX's Starship will deploy fleets of satellite data centers into orbit where they can harness constant, uninterrupted solar power. The strategy is to completely bypass Earth's power grids, its regulations, and all of its environmental constraints. So, when you put all of these pieces together, what does it all really mean? Well, the events of just the past day signal nothing less than a fundamental re-architecting of our economy and really our society. Let's just quickly recap the bottom line. First, AI-driven job replacement is no longer a future prediction. It's a present-day corporate strategy. Second, this is all being fueled by the world's new essential commodity, compute power. This has ignited a technological arms race between the US and China, forcing a split in the global hardware market. And finally, as we've just seen, the race is so intense it's already expanding beyond the confines of our own planet. It is, quite literally, the industrialization of intelligence. And all of this leaves us with one final, and I think crucial question. Everything that happened today proves that AI is making a rapid transition from being just a tool that we use to being an active participant in the economy itself. And in this new world, the most important question we have to ask ourselves is this: who are the new winners and who gets left behind?